Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Don't play that music, it's copywritten. Whoa! What actual production value, not just me behind my computer looking at a thing. It's almost like we have something actually to talk about that's in the studio. And I'm so excited for it. We talked about it on the reaction video, and now we have it in-house, which is a brown box. Aren't you happy? It's not like I re-closed it. But inside this box is one of my favorite things right now that you probably don't care about, but judging by our polls, you actually kind of do. We'll see, a lot of those are usually memes, but what we got here, oh, look at that, is the DJI FPV combo. What we got right here, and we got an overhead camera so you can see the actual unboxing. But I'm so excited to see what actually comes in this package. I bought it with an SD card, just so it comes with exactly what they recommend, and I got it with some extra batteries, because I know I'm gonna be ripping through so many batteries. I usually try to get like 4 extra pairs, because I know that like, even though DJI batteries last a long time, I know that I'm gonna be flying way more than I should be. Okay, get out of here. Unbox therapy, eat your heart out. Oh. There we go.
That's a thumbnail moment right there.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, the money shot.
Oh, buddy boy. Look at this. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love the guard on the camera. I love the battery. Like, these batteries look hefty. This is beautiful. I can't wait to get this in the air, dude. I really can't. Oh. I got the covers for the little rotor. Well, we got our Darth Vader helmet. Yes. Let's throw everything out of this box so we can get to flying. So like I mentioned in the video, like talking about the subject, we have the drone and we have the mask that you put the visor for you actually to see what's happening. And then we got the little controller. So this is actually bigger than I thought it would be. Like it's pretty beefy. This is a crazy, I'm pretty sure this is the antenna. Usually the antennas like come out, but this is just flips up and down. And it's better because usually the antennas you kind of need to like fold in whichever way, and that can lead to a lot of issues that you could accidentally break them. Then we have the thumbsticks aren't in there because they're right here on the corners. Wow, they're in there really well. And it's funny because these look slightly different than the ones that are like for the Mavic and whatever, and they look closer to like the FPV ones that are like skinny at the bottom. Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a good time. The one thing I'll say that I don't love so far that I see about this is that it doesn't have like replaceable batteries. That's the same thing with the other like Mavic series. When it comes to like the Inspire and like bigger drones where you want to make sure that your controller does not get disconnected, you make sure that you have like an extra battery you can slot on there. But that's not like a crazy thing. So let's see how much they had to charge. So about 2.5 things. Like we said before, it has all of those different options. You can hit record, take a photo, pause, so you could pause in midair and stop flying and just be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go get a drink. Don't get a drink. But you know, you could do something and have your FPV drone just stop right there in midair, because this thing lasts for 20 minutes. Like FPVs usually like, you can hold in like going to the bathroom because your battery will die before you need to actually go. Well, with this, you actually like 20 minutes, like that's crazy. So we have that, and then we also have manual, sport, and home or normal mode. So right there on the little switch. And then you have a programmable button. I love these. This little loop, you might think isn't really that useful, but what it actually does is it lets you like clip it to a harness. So even if you like let go, it'll be like clipped onto like a lanyard or something, so you don't lose the controller. This will, this little dial right there will make it so that you can actually use the pivoting camera on the drone. So yeah, everything else seems to be just random cords and stuff. Let's see here. Oh my god, they got racing green, presumably replacement for this. Ooh, we got the strap for the headset, it's not bad. We got the charging cord, and yeah, more charging cables and stuff. Little Allen key for messing around. Flight manual packet, your quick starter guide to all things DJI. Oh, cool. So this is a USB-C to regular USB. This is a good adapter so that if your like car charger or like whatever you're using just has a USB-C port, you can charge your controller anywhere. This, you don't see this very often. This is a USB-C to barrel jack. I don't know why would they package this in here? Does this have a barrel jack? So either you can charge the controller through a barrel jack, or one of these items actually uses a barrel jack, like DC power. I assume that's either the battery or that is the headset, but that's surprising. Like, you never see one of these cables. I've literally never seen this cable before. I'm legit very surprised.
I don't know, we may have to actually read the manual.
Right? Woo, yay! And now these little canister-looking antennae that fit right onto the mask. So it looks like you're a supervillain from Spider-Man. I swear this looks like, what was it called? Vulture? Like with his big old wings?
Yeah.
Like legit, I think they kind of took inspiration from that, or Vulture took inspiration from the FPV Racing League. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Okay, let's start cleaning up this area. Getting overrun by plastic. Okay, and one more thing in here. Ooh, this is very useful, and I'm glad they put it in here. Some extra little nubs for your controller. Another box, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, buddy. Oh, these are in the red and black, like just that cool edgy color for the propellers. Oh, beautiful. So something that I'm curious about, actually. Usually the propellers have like different indicators to show if they are clockwise or counterclockwise. I don't see those right now, but let's try putting them on the drone. So you can actually see it on the drone itself. Red, I don't remember which one stands for clockwise or counterclockwise, but the different rotors on the drone actually spin in different directions. So you can see red, black for the different directions that they spin in, and usually the actual propellers are the same and should have an indicator that shows the difference. So let's just try popping them on and see what happens. So what you usually need to do is grab the motor, hold it tight with your fingies, and then push down the propeller into it, and you twist. This might be the wrong one. Yeah. So that wasn't the right one. Let's see if, I feel like there should be an indicator that shows. Wait, is that really what that means? It says CCW. Are these all counterclockwise? Whoa, here, wait. I'm a dickhead. They literally have a bunch of other propellers. These all only go on the one side because they're all counterclockwise. These ones are probably, see, they don't have the red dot. Okay, that makes way more sense. These ones are counterclockwise, these ones are clockwise. And one has the no circle, the other one has a circle, so you know where they're supposed to go, as well as the red and black, so that's how they're supposed to go. They try to make it as easy as possible so a dingus like me wouldn't mess it up. I still messed it up. It is complete. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. I can't wait. Probably just, yep, there you go. Oh, look at that. From what I've heard, it has the same sensor that the Mavic Mini does, which I think is 1 2/3. It's like got a 2/3 inch sensor. So not a full inch like the Mavic does, but it has enough that it's like, you can get some beautiful stuff just right out of the box. Let's get all of these, and I'm so glad they gave you extra propellers. This is so important. If you're a drone pilot and you've been flying for more than like a couple months and you have not replaced your propellers, do that right now. It's very important to make sure that you're not gonna have a propeller that's gonna explode in midair. If you have a propeller with a chip in it, get rid of it, throw it away, make sure you don't look back and be like, oh, this is okay, I'll reuse this. Because propellers are the first thing that you wanna make sure are completely fine on your drone. And it is your responsibility as a drone pilot, when in the Part 107, they call it the pilot in command, to understand how the drone is doing and make sure that it has everything it needs to not mess up mid-flight. So make sure that you are replacing your propellers, and luckily DJI have given us a spare set of propellers. So I'm super stoked about that. And last but not least, and probably least, I don't even know what this box is. Okay, this is the charging brick. Okay. It looks like you just plug this straight into the battery. And right here, we have the Fly More package, which takes about the exact same, it looks like it takes the exact same plug and just plugs it into 2 more batteries. So this whole thing comes with 3 batteries, the entire kit. Open up this box. What is this? It's a charging brick. Wait, what? It just comes with a charging brick? That's weird. So this is an actual like charging brick that you would use to like charge your phone, it looks like. And so I think they actually packaged one so that you can charge either the controller or your headset to make sure that you don't run out mid-flight. Like, that's pretty dope. With that, we have everything except to open up the Fly More package. So let's do this right quick and let's get to flying, man. Let's get to flying. There we go. We get the manuals, of course, which at this point we gotta read. There's so much in here that I'm like, okay, I need to know what half of this stuff does. And yes, look at these batteries. From what I understand, like to make sure that they're low profile enough, they had to move where the actual like connection goes into the drone to the top. So it doesn't just slot in, the connections like going out into the drone. Just to make sure that they could fit everything into this package, they had to like move the connector to the top. Now, I'm curious how this fits actually onto the drone. So let's scooch all this crazy crap that we have now out of the way, and let's see if we can actually remove the battery. So from what I see, we have the top connector, so I assume we unplug that. And then we have these two plastic sides. Let's try to pinch those. Yep, and there we go. That's crazy though. It surprises me that they put the connector up here, but like I get it. Like you gotta just make it work. Like, holy crap, this is so light. Like this is so much lighter without the battery. I can't describe to you without you being here how much this is nothing. This is just pieces of plastic that are built around a battery. Like the battery is the whole thing. And it's funny because like with FPV drones, the entire like kind of frame of it is so light. The actual computing like unit is so light. The camera and everything are stupid light because the battery is the one thing that gives it so much power. So you're trying to like reduce all other weight so that the battery can really be the main thing that you can like fit out to be heavy. So that's basically what this is like. It's crazy. And let's grab the rest of the Fly More package. The last thing with the Fly More package is the other battery. Wow, this stuff is, it's crazy. The thing that blows my mind about this whole thing is how like lightweight and like minimal the actual items are, because the stuff that I would put in a backpack is really just this, which is super light, and it connects the other batteries like this. And they sit right here, pluggy and squish. And you're good to go. And then the same place that you would charge the drone, you just plug right there. And so, yep, you just plug that in, get the little outlet there, and you're good to go to charge all your drone batteries. So if I were to build out a kit, it would be the drone, the Fly More package, the controller, the headset, and the propellers. This is a lot at first glance, but when it comes to drone flying, like you usually have to have like so much more in your kit. The one thing that will make this bigger than maybe a Mavic, like if you already have a Mavic series drone, be aware that you are actually going to need to give it more room than a Mavic, because this does not fold. So this will take up more space, as well as if you keep the propellers on. I wouldn't recommend doing that. They're pretty easy to put on and off. Unlike a lot of other drones, you actually have to screw them in and stuff like that. DJI drones are very easy to take the propellers on and off because you just push down, pull it, good to go. And they're very secure, it's crazy. So I would recommend taking the propellers off, keeping them with your other propellers, but mark which ones you've used so you know which ones are new, which ones you can replace them with. But this whole package could probably fit in one of our Pelican cases that we use all the time. Do we have one, Alan? Hey, look at that. Perfect. Thank you, my friend.
Will it fit?
Will it fit? Welcome to Will It Fit? Oh boy. So this is probably like the smallest Pelican case that I would recommend. Like this is the smallest one that, or the biggest one with a handle, I guess. All the other ones have like rolly things. So this one has, oh boy, a lot of space, a bag for your sandwich. We just had this, I don't even know where this came from. I love to get these dividers. You can organize your stuff with these felt inserts. So let's put this aside for now. But let's see if this all can fit in a regular Pelican case. This is about the size of like a regular backpack. So put this in here. Let's keep the propellers on for now, but we will take them off in transit. Put the goggles in there. Put the controller back here. We'll find a place for the extra batteries, but it really doesn't look like there's too much extra room for all your other stuff. If you're putting it in a backpack, these can fit in the other pockets, as well as all the other like cables and stuff. So I would say that this whole thing can fit into a pretty big backpack, but unlike a Mavic, those with all their batteries can fit in like a little satchel or like a little side bag. You can put that in a fanny pack and go wherever you want. I would recommend that if you are going to get one of these, make sure that you have a pretty good carrying case, whatever it is, but also that you understand that this will be bigger than most drones that you see on the market right now, because those ones fold. Big thing you need to do when you are an FAA flyer is put the FAA code, register your drone with FAA through their drone zone, which is the perfect name, and then put the code on the drone so that if it does crash, somebody can find that, look you up, and then they can deliver it back to you, as well as it holds you accountable so you're not doing crazy stuff and being like, oh, I can throw my drone wherever, and then it doesn't really matter what happens to it, like I can just throw it wherever and like not worry about it. Because if they find it and they link it back to you, then it actually becomes an issue, but if you actually put the thing on there, it's easy to connect to you and resolve the problem. So make sure that you register your drone, label it, and we are gonna get flying, my dude. I can't wait. I can't wait to put this thing up in the air. This is ridiculous. This looks like a little game controller. I can't. Be safe, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this little game controller. And now we're going to Keon and Alan in the field. Son of a... Hey, so here we are away from the hustle and bustle of the city in a beautiful park, ready to test out this drone. Time has passed. We have given it all of its updates. First con. The update literally took 45 straight minutes, and it disconnected and reconnected. So understand that the reason that the batteries came like uncharged and stuff like that is that, first of all, you really shouldn't be flying this like immediately, but also that like they're expecting you to like take the couple hours to understand how this whole ecosystem is gonna work. So word of the wise, update early. So we've set up kind of like a little setup where we have the batteries over here in their charging compartment, all of the cables that'll go out to the controller and the headset, and then the drone. It only comes with one USB-C cable, so you can't charge the headset and the controller at the same time unless you get another USB-C cable, so that doesn't come packaged with it. We also found the reason why it comes with this little battery is something that I didn't realize and I totally forgot because I haven't flown one of these things in like a year, is the fact that this doesn't have an internal battery. So that's what this is. It goes right into the barrel jack right here. And the reason why I didn't recognize that USB-C to barrel jack connection is because they usually use a USB-C to like drone battery connection. So that's what the original came with. This is different. The thing I hate about it is that there's nowhere to like really put the battery. So I kind of made a really simple rig where it's just a piece of Velcro and then a cable tie that Velcros that together. This ain't going anywhere, and it's gonna sit right here, and then the cable goes from here right into the headset. So it's all together, and I'm not afraid that it's gonna unplug in the middle of a flight. With that, I think we're ready to hook everything up and give it a go. While we're doing this, I'm gonna look up, okay, I wrote down a bunch of, like as we were setting up, I'm like, all of the like honeymoon stage faded away as I'm like, this is annoying to set up. As I said before, you need to activate it. To activate it and to update, you need to connect the drone, the headset, and the controller all together, make sure they're all connected, and then plug the headset via USB-C into your phone. So that's why it had that USB-C to USB connection, so that you can then plug your phone into the headset. That was kind of annoying because I needed to make sure that like my phone didn't turn off, as well as the headset, so it would keep updating. That's why it took like 45 minutes. Now listen to this thing. Did you hear that? I don't know if you could from my lab, but this thing turns into a transformer. It's frightening, frankly. They know what they're doing. they know how cool we want this stuff to be. The only thing we have left to do is fly. I think we've gotten to the point where I feel comfortable kind of just moving around, but I have not flown a manual drone in a long time. So 3, 2, 1, manual mode. And it does not seem to really be doing manual mode at all. It says it's in sport mode. Maybe I need to unlock something for it to go into manual? I can get these cool shots of the street and I can go much faster. Oh, more birds. Gonna let them do their own thing. Ooh, look at those birds over there. That's pretty. But for some reason, it's not letting me go into manual. So I might need to do a bit more research on why that's happening. One thing that I think might be the reason for that, look at all this nice wildlife over here. Let's check out this area. But one reason that I think it might not be letting me do that is because, and I wanna stay away from these birds, let them mind their own business. If you ever see any wildlife, make sure to just stop and not do anything to them, okay? The controller that I'm using right now has the stick right here. It doesn't let me go down. If I go down, the drone goes down. When you're actually flying in manual mode, you need that stick to be able to move however you want it to, because down all the way is 0 throttle. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go down or up. It means that you're giving it kind of gas. So the reason that I think that they would do that and not let me go into manual mode right now is for the same reason that this is like this. They know that I don't have full control of the throttle, so they don't want me to like mess anything up. Besides that, man, I'm gonna tell you, first person view is unlike anything else. Like, I really don't think you guys can understand how just like completely different this is than any other drone flying, because you really just get this completely different like perspective of what you're doing. And I'm gonna be honest, I get a little motion sick. So this is like a little weird for me, but man, it is beautiful.
The thing that I do really love right now, though, is the fact that from the headset, the view is very crisp. Like, I am getting no problem with the clarity that I'm getting. But at the same time, we're not going too far, and we really shouldn't be going too far, because without the visual observer that I have right here, which is Alan, unless he can see the drone, then we shouldn't be going there. If you can't see the drone, you should not be where you are, because then it's hard to bring it in. The last thing I want to try is the pause mode. So the drone is coming in, getting kind of close, and then I hit pause, and it stops. The headset even says that it is aircraft braking, which is good. So if you ever are doing something and you don't feel comfortable, hit the pause button and you'll be good to go. The one other thing I want to mention is the fact that this actually has a return to home function, which is similar because it will air brake and then it'll come back to you. I don't want to try that out right now because we're right by some trees, but I'm really excited for the fact that, like, if I was in manual mode, I could hit the pause button and then hit return to home, and the drone would come back to me like any other DJI drone, when that's not really a thing with FPV. On that note, I'm gonna bring this bad boy in. Probably can't park it on the Pelican case, but let's see. Right over here. And down. And we're Gucci. And the thing that's crazy to me is the fact that most FPV drones usually need to, like, just drop them yourself. Like, you don't have these cool proximity sensors that drone has. So the thing that's interesting is that it, like, takes a second and then comes down like any other DJI drone does. But if you're flying FPV, you just kind of got to land it. You need to, like, make sure you're on the throttle, give it a little bit of gas, and then just cut the throttle. This thing is so beginner friendly that it wouldn't even let me go into manual mode. So on that note, I mean, like, I gotta say, I'm super excited about trying this out more and seeing what I need to do to actually get into manual mode.
Okay, it's 2 days later. We actually recorded the outro, but I'm re-recording it now because we've uncovered a few more hidden gems about the DJI FPV combo. So the main thing that I wanted to mention is that while we were out there, we couldn't do manual mode because the controller wasn't suited for it, and I didn't want to test it. The main reason is because you need to make sure that this stick right here just sticks wherever it is. And it doesn't do that by default because the way that you're probably going to be flying it just to get your bearings is just in normal mode and sport mode, which just needs that to sit in the middle. But if you want to do manual/acro mode, you need to make sure that you mod the controller. So what you need to do is you just need to open this plastic on the back and screw in 2 screws. That makes it so it doesn't spring around. It just sticks exactly where you need it to be. After you do that, you're ready to go and you can do some acro cool flying, which we did. Check out this footage right here. I am very happy with it. It was a really good time. But the main thing to keep in mind is that since the controller is different, if you go back into normal mode, make sure that you stick it in the center, because if you have it down, the drone's just gonna start going down. But you can't get any of that kind of footage without modding the controller. So it's super necessary, but something I found really weird about the DJI FPV system is even after I put it in manual mode and changed some of the settings, which you need to change the switch on the back that says M, that's technically a custom button. By default, it's set to sport mode, so you just need to go in the settings to the controller and set that to manual. Once you do that, it shows you need to, like, change the screws on here. But the thing that I found really weird was even when I put it in manual, even when I did all of this stuff to make sure that I was, like, getting the acro mode for the drone, the problem was it was still in what's called horizon. On FPV drones, they don't expect that you'll be able to, like, control the roll of the drone super well, so there's a mode called horizon mode, which makes it so you can't actually flip or pitch too far. This wouldn't let me get out of horizon mode. I'm probably missing some setting somewhere, but I still got some really cool footage with it in the regular mode. It just wouldn't let me do any flips or twists or any of that cool stuff that I wanted to do. So that's one downside that we couldn't find out, like, from our initial working with it, but you'll probably be able to do it. I've seen other people do it. It's somewhere. We'll find it. It's somewhere. And that honestly brings me to a couple settings that are made for beginners. Like, horizon mode is supposed to make you just fly flat so you don't accidentally flip upside down, you don't know what you're doing. And that's the thing about this drone, is that it is frankly the perfect beginner drone. It has a bunch of fail-safes to make sure that you don't crash it, but the thing that I found funny is that a bunch of my friends that are drone pilots started in horizon mode, but then felt too afraid to go into acro mode, which is like the point of this drone. It's to make you feel comfortable to go into acro and try some crazy stuff. because you can press pause, you can go back into normal or sport mode, and it actually is very good at doing that. I got a little bit too far away because it's easy, this thing goes so fast that it just stopped and then just started coming back to home on its own, which was great. Like, this thing has some really good beginner features. But the thing that I found really weird is that when you plug your phone into the headset and connect the headset to the controller, you can actually use their DJI Virtual Flight app, which lets you do a flight simulator just on your phone. You can be anywhere, you don't gotta connect it to a computer, which is dope. But the weird thing is that that one's already in acro mode. I could do flips and tricks and whatever, and work just fine. So I'm confused why this one, when I already changed all the settings, it wouldn't let me go into full acro. That might have just been something that this drone was doing for me, but it's something to be aware of. Now, that brings me to the DJI Virtual Flight app, which has some mixed reviews online, and I think that it's a good beginner flight app. The thing about it is that when you're simulating drone flying, there's a lot of physics there. There's a lot to keep track of, like wind alone is so much to keep track of. DRL and liftoff that are on Steam and you can play them on your computer have a lot of really good stuff in it. Like, I learned how to do FPV on those, and it translated pretty well to that footage you saw. But this flight app doesn't perfectly mimic that, which I found weird because this is their drone. So when I was using it, it felt a little stiff or a little bit too slow, and I didn't feel like I was actually getting a full representation of flying this drone. Because when I actually got into it, it felt just like DRL or liftoff. So that's one thing to keep track of, is that the simulator is really good to learn the controls, but it might not be the best for like all the physics that go into flying a drone, since it's just on your phone. It's also 1.1 gigabytes, so prepare for a long download. So we've talked about getting the drone all ready for acro mode, training, and making sure that you're ready. But let's talk about the crisp image that you get out of the camera. Like, the 4K looks really good. But the thing that was weird to me is that the actual headset has very low latency, but the image is still not perfect. That's not terrible, since like analog goggles actually have a lot of noise in them, but it's not great for the fact that I realized, and I recommend you don't do this, the footage that we got was me flying around a bunch of trees. Some of those trees didn't have leaves everywhere. So I looked back at the footage and realized how close I was to actually some of these like errant branches that were going around. That was because I couldn't tell on the goggles. So that's something to keep in mind, is that it might look a little bit more blocky than you might think. Make sure that you're taking precautions not to be too close to anything, because looking back at the footage, I was like, this is terrifying. Oh my God. So when you're trying to fly, make sure you go to a wide open area or something with like buildings that you'll see a big brick in front of you and you'll be able to stop. Or just hit the pause button, which is still so amazing. Like, I still can't believe that they put that in an FPV drone. And another feature that I personally really love is the fact that the headset isn't the only way that you can view the drone. I actually get pretty motion sick. Like, airplanes and boats are a nightmare for me. So putting on goggles and being in the preview of this drone can be a bit too much. But the great thing is that DJI thought ahead, and so if you plug your phone into the headset, and with the same app that you use to update it, you can view the readout of this drone. So I just put my phone right here, or you can use a giant iPad or anything, and I was just looking at it as I was flying. But make sure that you're not getting distracted. These drones, if you're in acro mode, cannot hit pause immediately, because you cannot look away or else something really bad can happen. So that was something that I personally thought was really great, was the fact that I didn't need to completely be using the headset to be able to see what was happening on the drone. And another bonus for anybody prone to crashes is that just like on old FPV systems that DJI was using, if you put an SD card into the headset, you can record a proxy of the footage that's going to the drone. So that way you can keep your footage in case something happens to the drone or it ejects the SD card. But another feature that I love is it has this little door here that is kind of hard to open that keeps the SD card in there. So if you do have a crash, recover the drone and it should still be in there. But if you have your phone plugged into the headset, you can also record proxies onto your phone. So there's a couple of layers of redundancy just in case something happens. And that ultimately brings me to my conclusion that this is, in my opinion, the perfect beginner FPV drone. I feel very confident that if I hit the pause button, the drone's just gonna stop and it'll come back to me. But at the same time, I do feel like it's hard to break out of that beginner aspect of it. Trying to get this to go in manual mode alone was a little bit of a task, but I still don't think that I can actually use this for full acrobatic flying yet. And there are a couple of features we didn't talk about that you can actually get, like that little motion controller. This thing comes with a Wiimote you can get, but I still wouldn't trust that with actually flying the drone. There are cool features that you can use that make FPV flying look way easier, but if you actually want to become that like fully trained acrobatic flyer, it might be a little bit hard because you really need to tweak and find the settings that will let you do that. Now, I still don't know how to get out of horizon mode, but I will say I'm very proud of the footage that we got. Like, I think it looks really awesome, and I'm really confident to take the drone out again. But please make sure that if you're flying, that you are keeping a lot of things in mind, that this is very powerful. It goes super fast, can get very far away from you. So luckily it has that return to home feature, but also to keep track that these goggles aren't perfect. They won't be able to show you exactly what the drone sees, and it might be a little bit muddy the farther you get away. So make sure that you're not flying towards any trees that have like little tiny branches that can get you, or any other things that you might not be able to make out perfectly as a big shape, like a fence or something like that. So make sure you're being safe, and I honestly think I could fully recommend this as a beginner FPV drone because I honestly don't have too much experience in that area. I use regular drones that a lot of people use for like real estate photography and transportation, but this has so many features in between the two that I felt very confident getting started and getting into FPV drone flying. So I think this gets a full recommendation from me, and I love this Pelican case we made. We put batteries in it and everything, so this thing is fully ready to go, and you just plug it into the wall. So we are ready to get crazy FPV drone shots, and I think this is going to become my little extracurricular activity. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys are planning on getting one of these drones. Like I said, it's only like $1,300 to get into like this full-fat, beautiful beginner ecosystem for drone flying for FPV. So let me know if you're considering it in the comments. And if you really like what we're doing, considering supporting us on Patreon, watch some of our other videos, and consider subscribing, of course, you know. But something we've been doing recently is on Twitch, so come hang out with us on Twitch. And I hope you guys had a good time. Let me know if I missed anything. If you're an FPV pilot and I said something completely wrong, please let me know in the comments. Dislike this video and own me in the comments, because I want to make sure that we are telling everybody exactly what they should know to get started, and there's no misinformation in this video. So again, super appreciate you guys watching, and if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take this guy for another spin.